Turo has in recent months changed the way that they handle reviews. And during the same period of time, not only have they changed the way that they handle reviews, but they've also made reviews more important than ever for the host. Let me explain. Turo hosts have always been measured on a percentage of 5-star trips, meaning what percentage of all of their trips are 5 stars. But historically, this has been rated against a metric of what percentage of rated trips are 5 stars. So for example, if a Turo host had 12 trips under their belt, 10 of those were rated, 2 were unrated, and 9 of those 10 were 5-star reviews, that host would have a 90% 5-star rating because their percentage is based off of only the reviewed trips. Turo would basically disregard the unreviewed ones. You also previously could get retaliatory reviews removed pretty easily with proper evidence. For example, if you were to request reimbursement for smoking or tolls or gas, and then right after that, a guest was to leave you a 1-star review, you could oftentimes get that review removed either by showing the timing of which the review came in based off of when you submitted reimbursement, if the guest said that they were irritated about the review, or if the guest explicitly said, hey, I'm leaving you this review because you requested reimbursement. All of these scenarios, as well as a bunch of others, could potentially allow for you to get a review removed under Turo's retaliation policy. But recently, in the last couple of months, Turo has basically changed all of this. They now count unrated trips against the host. So as a host, your 5-star rating is now measured against all of the trips that have taken place with your vehicles, not just the rated ones, meaning Turo basically equates a no reviewed trip to a bad reviewed trip. It's also extremely difficult to get a review removed because of retaliation. Basically, unless the guest explicitly says, I am leaving this review in retaliation of X, Y, and Z, you're not going to get that review removed. And now, in order to get all-star host status, you have to have 85% 5-star rated trips against all trips. 80% of your trips have to be rated 5 stars for cleaning and maintenance, again, against unrated trips as well. And this makes it significantly harder to get all-star host status, which has pretty huge impacts for hosts, including tire benefits, better support, things like that. Now, that was a very long-winded introduction, but it was important backstory to set the tone for the rest of this video, which is how you can get more 5-star reviews as a Turo host. And that is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. But before we dive into that, I do want to let you guys know that if you missed our Black Friday sale for the car sharing masterclass, you are in luck because we are running a Christmas sale and you can use the code Christmas225 to get $225 off the car sharing masterclass. The sale ends December 31st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So basically the end of the year. Now, many of what we're going to be talking about in this video are things that we've been discussing in my course and in my Discord for a few weeks, if not a few months by now. And everybody in my course community actually gets all of this information far before and in far more detail than I talk about here on my YouTube channel. Now, we do offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you're interested in checking it out, you can do so by clicking on the link down in the description below. And again, you can use the code Christmas225 to get $225 off. Now, I want to preface this by saying that whenever Turo announced their new review and all-star host policy, my initial knee-jerk response was putting my hands up and basically being like, you know what, screw this, I'm going to provide the best service that I can possibly give, but I am never going to chase down reviews. But I am a woman that can admit whenever she was wrong sometimes. And after talking to other Turo hosts, as well as people in our course community, I had come to the conclusion that if I want to get more and more 5-star reviews, and if I want to have a chance at making all-star status, I have to at least follow up on reviews. And so this has been a bit of an evolving strategy for me as far as coming up with a way to get more and more 5-star reviews, and it's also continuing to evolve as I test and try out new scripts for schedules and figure out really what works with my fleet and what I can pass down to you guys as well as my course members. And so let's first talk about some of the operational changes that we've made to our fleet in order to try to get more 5-star reviews. And I can tell you right now that these things that I'm about to talk about have been working extremely well. So operationally, I would say our theme over the last couple of months have just been to try to provide the best services possible. Now, this has always been our goal, but we've definitely been focusing on this a bit more, and we are trying to just take our vehicle quality up to the next level. We are now offering phone chargers in the cars, which we didn't previously do. We offer charging bases and a 3-way charging cord that works with Lightning, USB-C, and micro USB-C. We bought these on AliExpress for, I think, like $150 shipped for 100 of them. We also recently took a deep dive into how rental car companies make their cars smell good, and now we're using chemical guys to spray the car down before each rental. Prior to this, we used Wonder Wafers, and now we use a combination of both. This is no doubt making the cars smell better. This has absolutely helped us get more 5-star reviews, and it has provided a better guest experience. Now, sort of back to the beginning of this video, another thing that we have been actively doing is asking for reviews. Now, we've always asked for reviews. It has been a part of our automated script for a very long time now, but we are asking for them a bit more aggressively than we used to. Now, the first review request message comes from us through Turo and it's sent 45 minutes after the reservation has ended. We also send another message a few days later, and we are going to start implementing a message to be sent out about an hour before the rental ends. That way, if somebody ends up ending their trip early, they have the ability to rate us. As of recording this video, Turo guests do not have the ability to rate a trip before it's ended, but Turo is going to be changing this. I'm not exactly sure when that is going to happen, but we are going to change our messaging schedule a bit once that change has been implemented. So as of right now, it's two different messages being sent within the Turo app. The first one is 45 minutes after the trip ends. The other one is 3 days later, right before the reimbursement window closes. And soon we will be implementing a third, which is going to be implemented a bit before the reservation ends. All of these messages essentially say the same thing, which is thanking them for their business, asking if there was anything we could do better, and asking them that if they had a 5-star experience to please leave us a review. At some point during the 10-day review window, we also send a text directly to their phone. Now, as of right now, we only send one text during that 10-day window, but I have met a lot of hosts who send a lot more than just one during that 10-day window, whether it is every day, every couple of days, maybe 3 or 4 times during that 10 days. And what these hosts, including myself, do is I keep track of which guests have reviewed us by simply writing it down in a spreadsheet, and I only text the guests who have not reviewed. And in this message, we simply say, "Hi guest name, this is your Turo host. You recently wanted one of our cars. I wanted to thank you and let you know we appreciate your business. If you've not already done so, if you could please leave us a 5-star review in the Turo app for all categories, we would greatly appreciate it. Turo puts a large emphasis on reviews, and every positive review counts. If you have any feedback, we'd love to hear you directly, so please feel free to respond in this text with your feedback. We appreciate you." Now, this is another script that I've seen a lot of variation with different hosts. Some hosts are much more aggressive with asking for a review. Some hosts will straight up tell them, like, "Hey, I get punished if you do not give us a 5-star." And some hosts are much less persuasive with it, and they just say, "Hey, a friendly reminder to please leave us a review." This is something that we are actively testing with, and we've currently gone through about 1 or 2 scripts, and we have a few more that we want to test out to ultimately see what yields the best result. So we will keep you posted on how these scripts play out over time. One thing that we are actively doing is we are keeping a closer eye on guests who maybe have rated us poorly in the past, and we're either A, telling Turo we're uncomfortable having them rent from us again, or B, we sort of call the guest out. Now, we're not calling them out aggressively, but there have been times where a guest maybe leaves us 4 stars, and then a couple of days or a couple of weeks later, the guest will end up renting from us again, and my husband will actually call the guest up and say, "Hey, we noticed last time you rated us 4 stars. Why did you rate us 4 stars, and what can we do in order to get 5 stars this time?" And during that conversation, he makes sure to make it very clear that we want that 5-star review. And I would say in these scenarios, basically 100% of the time, these types of guests then rate us 5 stars. The reality is, and it is a frustrating one, but it is also the truth, is that some guests don't really understand the value of 5 stars. There are some people out there who really deem a 5-star experience as a perfect experience, and they see a 4-star review not necessarily as a bad thing, but it's not a perfect rating. And so sometimes 4-star reviews really don't mean as much to the guests as they do to us. And you simply need to educate the guests that, like, hey, a 4-star is actually bad. So if you had anything that was remotely good, please leave us 5. We are, of course, doing some additional stuff here and there. Like, we're looking at replacing or getting seat covers for seats that are maybe a bit more worn out, like cars with tan interior, for example. And we are also quicker to take a car out of commission if we think that there is the slightest sign of an issue arising. But in general, this has been our strategy thus far of trying to get more 5-star reviews. And so far, the strategy has been working. Though we aren't exactly where we would like to be, we do feel confident that we can get there with time. But we are going to continue testing new strategies, new scripts, new schedules for sending out messages. So I will keep you guys posted. And I'm also interested in hearing what you guys are doing to get more 5-star reviews, because I think that this is an area where we can all learn from each other to try to benefit our fleets the most. Remember that my course, the Car Sharing Masterclass, is on sale until December 31st. You can use the code Christmas225 to get $225 off. And like always, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it. So make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.